Most people around you do not want to see you win. And I'm not talking about strangers. I'm not talking about people who don't know you. I'm talking about the people in your circle right now. Your friends, your family, people you grew up with, people you talk to every single day. Most of them, not because they're evil, not because they're bad people, would genuinely rather see you do a little bit worse than you actually currently doing. That is the reality. And that is the moment you fully accept the reality, not just intellectually, not just nod your head at it, no, but actually feel it and operate from it. Everything about how you move will completely change. A lot of you are still operating like people around you want to see you succeed. You want to tell them about the exciting things that is happening to you. Do not fucking do that mistake. They don't want to see you succeed. And I will tell you exactly what I mean by this. And understanding that is not about becoming bitter or paranoid or cutting everyone off. It is about being smart, about protecting your own energy, about understanding the game that you're playing. This video is that conversation, so let's get into it. First thing, I want to make something very clear. This is not about specific people being bad. This is about human nature being what it is. Think about from a psychological standpoint. When someone you know, someone you grew up with, someone at the same starting point as you, start doing significantly better than you, what happens in your brain? Even if you love that person, even if you genuinely want good things for them, there's a part of your brain that's gonna compare, that calculates, that's gonna ask, why them, not me? We started at the same place. We went through the same thing. How are they there and I'm here? And that comparison, it is automatic. It is not something people choose. It just happens. And when it happens, when you see someone in your circle climbing up while you feel you're standing still, it stings. Even if you would never admit that. Here's the thing that makes this very relevant to you right now. You are that person to someone else. Do you understand? As you build, as your credit gets cleaned up, as the funding comes in, as the business start producing, as your life start looking different from what it is from 6 months ago, someone in your circle is feeling that comparison, is doing that calculation, is wondering why you're moving and they're not. And that comparison right there, that quiet resentment doesn't always stay quiet. Sometimes it is going to show up as discouragement. Oh, you sure that is a good idea? Oh, sometimes it might show up as a joke. Oh, look at you, big businessman now, trying to do this, trying to do that. Sometimes it shows up as a radio silence when things are going well, but suddenly everyone appears with something when something goes wrong, right? And this is pure human nature. It is not evil. It is not personal, just real. And the more you understand, the less it is going to surprise you, the better you can navigate through it. Here's a number I want you to actually sit with. 1% of people are genuinely and conditionally happy for you. 1%. 99% of people, when they see you doing well, have some version of that comparison happening in their head, in the background. Maybe a small version, maybe a large version, who knows? But it is there. And here's what makes it even harder. The people most likely to feel it are not strangers, because strangers don't care enough about you to even feel it. The people most likely to feel it are the people who know you personally, who remember where you started, who were there when you had nothing. Because a stranger seeing someone succeed thinks, good for them. I don't care. I don't know them. But a person who knew you when you were broke, when you were figuring things out, when you were nobody, that person has a reference point. They remember the before and the gap between the before and the after, and that is what's going to create the comparison in their head. Old friends, they see the glow up and they are reminded of their own standing still. Do you understand? Your ex who knew you when you couldn't get approved for a car, for example, she sees you moving now, doing things that is going to trigger something that she would never admit. Your cousin who always thought he was the one who was going to make it, and now you're the one who's making it, that is going to hit different. None of these people are necessarily going to sabotage you intentionally, but they're not going to be your biggest champions either. They might smile at your face and feel something completely different when you walk away. That is the reality, and you need to operate with it in mind. Let me make this concrete because I think sometimes this sounds abstract until you see a real situation. You start building your own credit. You go from 580 to 700 in 90 days. You tell your friend group about it. They say, yeah, whatever, cool. But nobody asks the follow-up question. Nobody wants to know how you did it. Nobody is inspired by it. That conversation literally moves on in 30 seconds. But then 3 months later, something goes wrong, a collection comes back, a dispute doesn't go through, your score dips temporarily or even something happened, and suddenly people have opinions. Oh, see, I told you these things don't work. Oh, see, you should have left it alone. That company probably scammed you. And the failure gets all the attention, but the wins, silent. Nobody says anything about it. And that is not a coincidence, my friend. That is human nature. Or this one, you start making real money from maybe credit repair business, right? You buy something, a new car, a better apartment, whatever it is, and you notice something shift in certain relationship. People start reaching out less, or they reach out more but it feels weird. Like they're suddenly interested in you for different reasons, or even the energy when you're around is just different. Maybe quieter, a little tighter. That is the comparison at the work in real life. It is passive, it is more silent, but it is real. And the mistake most people make, the expensive mistake, is they try to share their wins with people who are not equipped to receive them. Do you understand? They post the approval, the screenshot in the group chat, thinking everyone is going to be hyped for them. They tell the story of, oh, how they got funding, oh, how this happened to them, how they improved their credit. And what they get in return? Nothing. Or maybe at least fake smiles. And that is how you can feel it is hollow. And then you feel deflated. Not because anything went wrong in the business, because you just try to get energy from a source that doesn't have it for you. So stop doing that. And this is the part I want you to actually do after you watch this video. Audit your circle. Not dramatically, not by going through your contact and deleting people, but honestly, who are there? Who are the people you spend the most time with? Who are the people whose opinions you seek? Whose energy you're absorbing? Whose voices are in your head all the time when you're making decisions? And then ask yourself, does this person energy add to me or subtract from me? Not if they're good people, or not if you love them, not if you've been friends with them for the last 10 years. Ask yourself, does their energy add to me or subtract from me? Even people you genuinely care about are an energy drain in the context of where you're trying to go. Their ceiling is just too low. Their mindset is just too limited. Their response to your growth is comparison, not inspiration. Every hour you spend in their orbit is an hour you're absorbing energy that is not even aligned on where you're going. Here's the one thing that hits the hardest. The people you are trying to save, you know who I mean. The person in your circle who you know has potential, who you've been trying to bring up with you, who you keep giving advice, sharing information with, trying to plug into some new things that you're plugged to. So just stop. I promise you, bro, stop. Not because you don't care about them anymore, because trying to save someone who hasn't decided they want to be saved, who's still comfortable where they're at, is not helping them. It is draining you. Do you understand the difference? And when you make it, when the results are undeniable and the money is real and the life is just different, they will resent you for it. Not thank you, resent you, because your success will just remind them of everything that they didn't do when you were trying to put them on. Let me flip it and talk about what the right circle looks like. This is not about removing the wrong people. It is about intentionally building the right environment. The right people in your circle do one of two things. They make your life better, or you make their life better. That's it. That is the whole filter. If someone's presence, their energy, their conversation, their perspective is making you sharper, more focused, more inspired, more capable, that person belongs in your life right now. If you are in a relationship, professionally or personally, where you genuinely making their life better in a meaningful way, where your presence is adding real value to where they're going, that is worth your time too. If it is neither, if you're just maintaining a connection out of history, out of not wanting to have the awkward drift, that connection is literally costing you something. Your energy, your focus, like your bandwidth for the people and the things that actually matter. Even in the credit and the funding world, I've seen this destroy people momentum constantly. Someone is in the process, they're trying to build their profile, stay consistent, and then they spend a weekend with their old friend, old crew, the people who are not building anything, who are still operating from the same mindset from years ago. And then they come back different. Now they're slower, they're less locked in, they're second guessing everything that they're doing. So your environment is literally contagious. The energy of the people around you matter the absolute most. So you need to choose the environment intentionally. Let me connect this to something practical because I think it is important. The same way a damaged credit profile has hidden costs that most people never calculate, the wrong circle has hidden costs that most people never calculate as well. You know what bad credit costs you every single month? Higher car payment, higher rent, denied application, higher interest rate, the bad credit tax I've talked about before, the $600, $700, $800 a month bleeding out of your life just because you have a credit profile problem. The wrong circle has the same kind of invisible monthly cost. Do you understand? The mental energy you spend managing those relationships, explaining yourself, defending your decisions, absorbing their doubt, that energy could be going into work, into content, into calls, into client relationships, into business. The momentum you lose every time you're around those type of people is pulling you backward. That momentum compounds. I'm telling you, it compounds. So you have to be very, very careful. And I've seen people fix their credit in what? 60 days. Because they were locked in, focused, not distraction, no nothing, with the right environment, right people, right circle. And I've seen people take 8, 9 months on the same profile just because every time they got some momentum, something in their environment broke it. The profile is the same. The process is the same. The environment is different. So your environment determines your speed. Choose it like your results depends on it, because it does. Practical. This is how you navigate through this without becoming weird or socially awkward or burning every relationship in your life. Number 1 is stop oversharing your wins with people who are not equipped to celebrate them. Your wins should go to people who are in the game with you, people who understand what win actually mean and why it matters. Not the group chat, not the family dinner table, the right people. Second, protect your energy like you protect your credit profile. You don't let random applications stack up and damage your inquiry count, do you? So don't let random energy stack up and damage your focus. Be intentional about who gets access to your time and your headspace. Third will be let relationships drift naturally without forcing them to stay or forcing them to end. You don't have to have a dramatic conversation with everyone who is not at your level anymore. You just naturally invest more time in relationships that add energy and less in the ones that don't. That's it. The drift that happens on its own, let it happen. You don't need to accelerate it with confrontation. Fourth will be find the 1%. Yes, they exist. The people who are genuinely happy when you win. The people who are going to celebrate your growth without comparison. The people who push you without jealousy. Yes, they are rare, but they're out there. And when you find them, invest in those relationships aggressively, bro. Those are the ones worth your full time and energy. Number 5 will be the 1% for other people. Be the person who's genuinely happy when someone else wins. Be that guy who celebrates without comparison, not because it is naive, but because operating from that energy attracts the same energy back, and because it is the kind of person who's worth being. Here's what I need you to take from this video. The world is not full of people that are rooting from you, and that is not evil at all. That is just the reality. So accept it. Really accepting it is one of the most freeing things you can do for yourself, because once you stop expecting people to be happy about your growth, growth, you stop being disappointed too when they're not. You stop seeking validation from sources that don't have it. You stop performing your success for audience that resent it. And you're gonna start moving differently. You're gonna be way more quieter, more focused, building in silence, letting the result speak when they're ready. Not explaining yourself to people who don't have the context to understand. Not sharing your process with people who will use it to doubt you later. You're gonna just build. I came to America with nothing, and then I had a 430 credit score, 2 jobs, and I couldn't even get my own apartment. And the people around me at the time, they were not celebrating what I was trying to build. They didn't fully understand it. Some of them actively thought I was wasting my time, and I kept building anyways. Not for them, for the version of me that was on the other side of the work. And now I'm in a position to help people who look like me, who came from where I come from, who are going through exactly what I went through. Access a system that was never explained to them. That is the reward for protecting your energy and staying in your own lane. Pick your circle carefully, invest in the right people, protect your bandwidth, and build in the direction of who you are becoming, not in the direction of who the people around you are comfortable with you being. How was that, bro?
It's good, bro.